So the SEC chairman has challenges and must deal with, let's face it, so many competing interests, all of course trying to sway decisions and policy. But for me, I think the number one job is to protect the integrity of investing for all parties, but even more so for Main Street than the titans of Wall Street. And on that score, the retail investor has become so much more of a greater trading force in this market, even though many still say it's not a level playing field. I got to admit, I was very disappointed with the prior SEC chair. So it is my pleasure now to introduce the current chairman of the SEC. Joining me now, chairman of the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, Paul Atkins. Paul, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Charles. Thanks.
So you have been so busy. I mean, what I love is it wasn't hard to research this segment. So I got here like the SEC, the agenda, your agenda. And it's a pretty ambitious agenda. And at the top, maybe it's not in necessary order, but the top, regulatory recalibration. So let's start there.
Well, Charles, there over the last 4 decades or more, let's just say there's been a lot of rulemaking and rules piling up. And so what we're out to do is get back to basics, to have a good spring cleaning of the attic, garage, and basement, and to make sure that our rules are fit for purpose, because the financial markets are changing a lot and have changed a lot, obviously in the last 5 years even. And so we need to make sure that our rules are modern, up to date, and then do what they're supposed to do to protect them.
I wish all government agencies were doing that. Federal Reserve. Anyway, to that note, this dovetails perfectly with investor protections, because some say, okay, you know, obviously you have rules to protect, and then you can have too many rules which bog you down, and it can be a delicate balance.
All right. So there's always a give and take. There's a cost and benefit to anything. And so you need to make sure that if we're collecting information, we're actually using that information, and that it helps us do our job better, or helps the marketplace understand what's going on with their investments and all of that. And so we have to make sure that things are fit for purpose, and that we don't overburden things.
The administration's really embraced digital assets, which I think is much needed. I think digital assets are as important a critical component of the fourth industrial revolution as AI. Getting the rules around them, though, is the issue here. You're tackling that.
Well, we're setting out to have clarity. Unfortunately, over the last number of years now, the SEC first took kind of an ostrich with a head in the sand approach, and thinking maybe all this will go away. But then more, unfortunately, in the last few years, it was basically regulation through enforcement. There was no clarity. It forced people offshore, and that's bad for American economy and innovation, but it's also ultimately bad for American investors.
I know you want to see retail investors have access to private markets, but by the same token, there's some questions, right? Even this Egan-Jones probe by the SEC of the credit ratings practices. How do we make sure that this access, make sure that someone's protecting them? This is a pretty opaque place, and for retail investors to put 401k money in there, I'm sure there are opportunities, but there could also be some serious pitfalls.
No, clearly. And so having been an investor in private markets myself, there are a lot of potential pitfalls. So with valuation, liquidity, where you stand in the whole capital stack if something goes wrong, where you stand in the order of priority of settlement. And so all of those issues, fees, especially, can be opaque and layer upon layer. Right. So all of that, we're approaching this very carefully. We're working with the Department of Labor on it. We have a government shutdown. Obviously, we haven't been able to really move forward on this, but we're going to proceed cautiously with guardrails, because right now we have half the number of public companies as we had 30 years ago. Right. And so that's also bad for investors, because companies are staying private longer, and so you cannot really have, I think, a well-balanced portfolio, as as even professional money managers note, unless you have some exposure to the private market, because it's so big. But we have to do that with reason. There has to be, like with 401k, boards of boards who have fiduciary duties to look out for their investors as to what those monies are put into, and so forth.
So my audience is always hitting me on social media, with what's going on. They really feel like the playing field is unbalanced. So I would just ask you about a few things that are on their mind. Almost every day, dark pools, synthetic shares, illegal shorting, these kind of things. They don't feel like that your predecessor took these things seriously on their behalf. What are you doing about it?
Well, so we're looking, as I mentioned, we're doing a good spring cleaning is what we're setting out to do. We have a lot of work to do to try to, I think, make up for lost time, frankly. But all of these things, the potential market manipulation and whatnot, we have active surveillance going. We have the tools to do it. We've here recently shut down trading, and during the shutdown, 9 Chinese-related stocks that showed indicia of manipulative activity in their trading.
Yeah, I think that the audience is really concerned though about like the titans, right? Like the Citadels of the world versus them. Do you see a competing interest there?
Well, I mean, the market is complex.
Right.
There are many parts to it, but let's say that the American markets have more integrity and are more active, liquid, and deep than any other markets in the world. And that's thanks to the work that the SEC has done. It's thanks to all the different market participants.
A lot of folks ask me about this consolidated audit trail, that there's an effort to get rid of it. Is that true?
No, that's well, it's a rule that the SEC adopted a number of years ago, but it has grown to be an unwieldy kind of a blob, basically. Let's just say, collecting a lot more information. That's what we're setting out to do, to make it again sort of fit for purpose, rather than collecting information that is not used and really not needed.
The one I get every single day, and I've had politicians who've come on the show and talked about this, is MMTLP. This is a community that feels like something really awful happened to them December 5th, 2022, and that nothing has been done about it, even though they've been pleading with Washington, D.C., every branch of government, and specifically the SEC.
Well, I'm on the job here 6 months, so we're getting 2 things, and I can't talk about any specific issues, but suffice it to say that we're out to protect investors and to make sure that they are not taken advantage of.
So maybe we'll hear something on that in the future.
We'll see. Yes.
People are hurting on that one. Okay, real world asset tokenization. Any framework around that yet?
Well, so tokenization, I think, is very important. To put things on chain, I think, is a huge potential innovation that, if it spreads to in the securities industry, I think it can help maintain integrity. It can help make things more efficient. It can lower costs, maybe, and then have the ultimate would be to have on-chain clearance and settlement of securities, and that would really de-risk and make safer our markets overall.
So this week, a lot of pressure on AI stocks. A lot of it's coming from a filing from Michael Burry of Big Short fame. What was intriguing about it, though, is that he made the filing on November 3rd, when for the last several years he's made it on November 14th. And some are saying it's sort of, they think it's manipulation, sort of like the Jesse Livermore style kind of thing, like, you put it out there to tilt public opinion. Now, it's probably not illegal, but this is a way that people believe the financial media and those who are giant and powerful have ways to sway the market in their favor against the retail audience. Are you guys watching the nuances of the market that closely to see these kind of things?
Well, again, we have some very talented people who are engaging in surveillance of the market, even during the shutdown. So I want to make sure that people understand that we are at the job, right, engaging in that sort of surveillance. And as I mentioned, with some of this manipulative activity in certain stocks, we've been able to stop that. So we are, and this surveillance that we have has, paid off benefits over the last many years now in helping our enforcement activity.
Well, I know that you really want to keep the integrity of markets. I know you want to keep America #1 when it comes to financial markets. And now that the retail audience is playing a bigger role, they're counting on you.
Yeah.
I appreciate
thank
you sitting
Charles.
down. Hopefully you come back again real soon.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.
Chair Atkins, thank you very much.
Thank you.